Let's do this.
And aloha, welcome back to Mystimon Saga, a world like no other, where people live alongside mystical creatures and where magic comes alive, under siege by forces beyond and within. This is Mystimon Saga Hidden Archives, a Pathfinder 2nd edition actual play, where our investigators battle an evil cult and investigate the paranormal and high strangeness all over the world. I am your host, GM Seth, aka Seth R. Mitchell, and I am today once again joined by our players.
I am Elle. I'm playing Soma, a Alopec, a witch, and Zoe, a rock summoner.
I am Binary, and I am playing Bastille, the automaton, and Goldramanier, the Gola.
Hello, I am Shadow, and I'm playing as Rat, the Gobloran Gunslinger.
Good afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on where you're at. I am Twilight, and I'm playing as Adeline, also known as Ada, a Fey kineticist.
Hello, I'm Duck. I'm playing Willow, a Rakan, who's a Mystimon Summoner.
Yep. There we go. So, where we last left our investigators, as I have a kitten on the back of my chair where I really do not want her. Actually, she's not on the chair, she's on the pillow. Okay, I guess that's fine. Where we last left our investigators, we had a memorial last time for my cat, Carii, who sadly passed away on October 22nd. Very sad, and I'm still having a hard time with that. But I'm managing. Thanks again, Elle.
Yep.
And so beyond that, the party got a little more acquainted with Kyrene's Nyoko, who is this like brown tabby cat with angelic wings. That's what Nyokos are, is they're house cats with the angelic wings. And the Evo form of Naekos. And you are a little more acquainted with Kyrene's Nyoko, that she named Carii. And she's going to be a little more present from now on. And in fact, you're going to find out just how present. And you, Soma and Khul-Dra, you followed Kyrene down into the forbidden section of the library. And you came across this tapestry that actually told a lot more of the story of the Guardians and their place in the world, and told of the legend of the Traveler and the 9 Guardians. Excuse me. And you discovered that actually there is a connection between the Guardians and the 10 Dragon Lords, which explains Ira's connection with Freslor, the Dragon Lord of Frost, and Kwoi's connection with Gaius, the Dragon Lord of Earth. So there is a connection there. But while here, you eventually ended up walking into the other half of the party, as Rat shot a bookshelf in his insanity. Don't worry, Rat, you'll be receiving a bill from the library forthwith.
It's just gonna be on my tab.
You don't got a tab.
And for once, it's someone else ruining a library instead of Ada.
Exactly.
There's still time.
Yes, there's still time.
Still time for what? Someone else to break one?
And I'm going to activate this new scene here. Let's see if I can... Yep, there we go. Get everyone into here onto this new scene that is actually the map of Evergreen City.
I like this.
Nice.
This is the map of Evergreen City, and when we last left off, the last scene we left off on, Freslor had gotten into this fight with this abomination creature over the ranch, and it received heavy damage from this fight, and was actually saved last minute by Flimdrone, who then followed Freslor along with Gaius as she flew to Olympus. And why was she flying to Olympus? Why was Freslor flying to Olympus? Well, Freslor was flying to Olympus because that's where Ira was. So she was flying to Ira. Presumably to get help because she was heavily damaged. And she actually crash landed onto this cliff overhang that is east of the city that is called Wingnut Bluffs. She actually crash landed here, and Ira ran to her side. She was crying, and she called for Kwai. She asked Kwai to go get everyone, to get anyone who could help heal her. Soma, Zoe, everyone, you got there. Soma and Zoe and others tried to do everything you can to help heal her, but her damage was really bad. And then suddenly she disappeared into a billion bright lights. And as Kyrene and Crystal saw this, they looked at each other and were like, huh. Because that doesn't mean Freslor died. No. Freslor is still very much alive. What happened, as Kyrene explained, as she tried to calm Ira down and kind of soothe her, what happened was that Freslor actually returned to the flow, which can only happen if she was imprinted. It turns out Freslor was imprinted by Ira. So the connection is real. There is a definite real connection between the Guardians and the Dragon Lords. And that is where we actually pick up. You're still out here on Wingnut Bluffs, surveying this huge divot on the ground that occurred from a giant dragon crash landing down here into the bluffs. And after all of this, and after witnessing Crystal kind of petting Flimdrone after she went up there along with, like, I think most of the party went up there with her as she was trying to calm down Flimdrone, because Flimdrone was flying overhead over the city, roaring, and she was afraid that if Flimdrone was going to fly off the handle and start burning things. And eventually she did manage to get Flimdrone to calm down after leaping over onto this giant, massive dragon's back. And eventually Flimdrone flew down and landed down on the ground, and Crystal was actually petting Flimdrone. After seeing this, Ira is actually really upset, and it goes head on straight at Crystal, and she is really upset. And make me a perception check.
While we do this, just want to say, completely left out the fact 2 party members also leapt onto the dragon lord. Come on.
Yeah, there were a lot of people who leapt on a dragon. And we actually have a critical success from Bastille.
And I was about to say, like, is everyone making the check, or only a select few?
Yes, everyone is.
Just one off. Unfortunate.
So we have Soma with a 34. We have Bastille with a critical success, 20 on the die. We have Khul-Dra with 30. We have Rat with 29. And we have Ada with 21. So Bastille absolutely sees this. And actually... Bastille, this is what you actually perceive here. Bastille, you believe that Ira fully blames Flimdrone. Entirely blames Flimdrone for Freslor's injuries. She is 100% focused on Flimdrone. She 100% believes that Flimdrone got into a fight with Freslor, and that's why Freslor was so heavily damaged.
This is false.
So she goes right over to Crystal, and she is yelling at Crystal, and she's also yelling at Flimdrone, and Flimdrone's kind of looking at her with a glare, like you think she might blast her with a ball of fire any moment.
Quiet down.
And Iris says, they must have got into another fight, and Flimdrone almost killed her.
If Flimdrone was intending to kill her or fight her, do you think she would have gotten this far?
She chased her here.
And yet, right now, he is not attacking.
What about the burn and singe marks?
Yes, because a Dragon Lord is the only thing that can ever create fire.
Zoe, you can make me a medicine check. Because you actually were trying to directly treat Freslor. So you can make me a medicine check.
Can I, because I have the megafauna thing, I use nature for medicine? Can
yes, absolutely. Check? Absolutely, sure.
God, I can imagine that after hearing the
and we have a 20 on the die. 20 on the die from Zoe. Zoe, you absolutely 100% know for a fact. You know for a fact that the burn and singe marks on Freslor's wings were not from fire. They were electrical burns.
Zoe's going. I guess Zoe has kind of like been making her way over. Here's this and did Bastille, when you said this was false, or were you saying that out loud?
Yeah, no, he's fully chastising Ira right now.
Okay. Yeah, Zoe steps up next to Bastille and says, Bastille's right. Those weren't burns. Those were electrical scars. It
Zoe
makes it very different that you didn't have time to see, but I was right up there in them, and they were all forked.
Yeah. So, Zoe, make me a diplomacy check with an aid from Bastille.
I was going to ask if I could make an intimidate check. So I roll first, correct?
Yeah, let's see how your aid goes. 22, you succeed, so that's a +1 to Zoe's diplomacy.
Okay. Is it a circumstance or a status bonus? Circumstance?
That's a status bonus, I believe.
Okay. Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't
because
really
I don't
matter.
have anything else, but
yeah.
Well,
you want to story point
Zoe,
that?
Yeah, Zoe's gonna story point that because I've got a plus 22.
You could also epic point it, but
I'm not epic pointing it. It is a 34.
34. That is a whole lot better. So hearing that from you, and see, looking in you in the eyes, she recognizes, yeah, you know what you're talking about because you know these things, and you were trying to help and everything. So she says, I'm sorry to Crystal, and then just walks off. And Koi runs up after her. You can tell that she's still upset, but at least she knows that Freslor is going to be okay. She just needs to some time to heal.
Zoe nods to the Brigadier, who does that cat thing where he wanders over, like, pretending that he's not heading for a person, but then somehow ends up, like, just curled around Ira's feet. Why would he come over here? I mean, no reason. Don't read too much into it. God.
So, let's see here. Everyone ends up back at the Wilted Tree Tavern, spending the night at the Wilted Tree Tavern as we go to the deck scene, if I can ever find it.
We technically have a day of downtime, right? In between?
Yes, but give me a moment. Technically, you do.
I was just wondering if I can roll my will save to get rid of my 1 point.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You could roll your resolve. You can go ahead and roll your resolve. But
listen,
as you're dealing with that, at nighttime, Soma, you remember that Carii wanted to have a word with you in private, and you find her out on the balcony at the Wilted Tree Tavern, and looking out at the stars and the moons. And she looks like she's in deep thought about something. She kind of has like this somber look on her face. And eventually, Carii, without looking back at you, she says, "Greetings, Soma. Beautiful night, is it not?"
Soma steps up next to her and kind of looks around. What time of year is it again? Is it autumn?
It is the fall.
It's fall.
Yes.
Kind of like smells that, that autumn sort of bonfire smell that you get at that time of year. And kind of shivers a little because she's from much warmer climes and pulls all of her various scarves and things like a little closer and says, "These are These are not the forests I'm used to, but they are beautiful.
She looks like she's really got this somber look in her eyes.
What did you want to speak with me about?
I've been thinking about my son. My relationship with Hyokun was strained for a long time. Did you know that?
I think you said something about it a few weeks ago.
She says, when he was but a baby...
I like Grazianne. She has good taste.
Yes, she does. When he was but a baby, I had enemies surrounding me, and I made the decision to leave him with a good friend in Atlantia in Hilltop City. I did it for his safety, you understand, in order to protect him, keep him safe. But he apparently grew up with the disdain for me for it. For a few years, he would not forgive me in the slightest. It was only after the cataclysm that he finally did open up to forgiving me and having a relationship with me. She says as she smiles. Things have been good, for the most part. He was a bit upset with me when I disappeared in the Ocean Kingdoms for a while. And, well, anytime really I go missing, as he puts it. I suppose I have a tendency to do that. And I may have to again soon. She looks at you. There are more enemies on the horizon than just Zolgoth. Have you ever heard of a woman named Avalice?
No, that... I mean, would that name ring a bell?
No.
That name, I've never heard of this. Who is she?
Very dangerous woman. Pray that you never meet her. I bring her up, however, because I recently had the misfortune of running into her. She looks at you. She's here, in Olympus. I do not know yet what she is doing here, but that is what I shall be looking into. She looks back out at the moons, and then she pulls an envelope out of her dress pocket and hands it to you. Do me a favor, please. If anything happens to me, see that this makes it to Hyokun. And let him know that I love him, and everything I have ever done was because I love him. And she turns to walk back into the tavern and then stops and puts a hand on your shoulder. Careful with Zolgoth. The man may seem to be a loon, but he is incredibly dangerous and more powerful than you know. That time in the Colosseum, he was toying with you. That was not even his full strength. Careful with his tricks, too. He will try to get into your head. If you have any fears or even desires and he finds out, be prepared for him to use them against you. He's done that with me for years. I have a deathly fear of snakes. Your friend's Jagunda sends my pulse racing on me and me on the verge of a seizure. I'll ask count of the number of times Zolgoth has used that against me to get into my head. The trick is, you have to get into his first. That's where he's weakest. Finding where he's projecting from, however, not even I have figured that one out. Hopefully you can find what I've missed all these years. Good luck. And then she looks to Carii the Nyoko, who's been sitting perched on her shoulder this entire time. And she says, this one seems to have taken a liking to you. Where I am going, I fear for her safety. You might have noticed she doesn't go into the flow like other imprinted Mystimon. For she is not imprinted. A little like your zeal, I suspect. Your Ikone. I'm not sure the mechanics of it. I have no theories as to that, but you see, as a scion, I lack the ability to imprint her. As much as I would have liked that to be the case, I just do not have that capability. So Carii here, we're bonded on a different level, I think. Like your zeal in you, perhaps. Since she seems to have taken a liking to you, perhaps you can take care of her while I'm away. If that's okay with Zeal, of course. And she laughs.
Zeal mutters dire imprecations under his breath from the corner.
She looks up at Carii, who flies up and over to you and sniffs your nose, and then rubs her cheek against yours. I see she
Zeal
approves
growls.
of this. I see she approves of this idea, but Zeal maybe not so much.
Zeal sighs and sticks his nose under his tail like he's not even listening.
You better hope I've never left into a room alone with you. I'll get you yet.
She gives Carii a gentle pet and rubs her cheek. I will return for you. You be good for Soma. And please try not to pick any fights with Zeal. And then she turns to you. She often likes to leave her scent wherever we go. I think to create a trail. I've never quite figured that one out. And at that moment, Soma, make me an occultism check.
It's like, oh no, are you warning me that this cat just pees on everything?
No, she doesn't pee on everything. I would absolutely recommend story pointing that.
Okay, I'll use my story point. It would be very funny if I just come away being like, great, Carii just warned me that her cat pees on everything.
No, she doesn't pee on everything. She actually rubs her cheek on everything.
Okay.
You suddenly you suddenly have this sudden thought, and then this sudden urge to head to the library to double check something.
I like press Kyrene's hand and say, be safe, come back. Zeal won't want me taking care of somebody else for long. But I will, until you come back. And I won't give this letter to Hyokun, because I won't need to. I'll give it to you when you get back. And then as soon as she leaves, I'm gonna head to the library.
She actually read your mind. And she stops and says,
rude. Sorry.
You're talking to a scion, remember?
I know.
Doesn't make it not rude.
Hasn't she ever read any of the X-Men? Come on.
She says, to get into the library at this hour, you will need this. She holds up her key card and jingles a set of keys. I can get you inside. Need to leave things exactly as we find them, however. Sometimes negotiating with a bunch of ornery Vikarans with a taste for drinking games does have its benefits. As she motions for you to lead on. Though I still have difficulty getting the taste of honey raisin mead out of my mouth. Yuck.
That does sound vile.
It's a particular kind of mead that Vikarans seem to have a taste for. And at this time of night, it's about 11 p.m. at night. Let me push forward the clock here.
If I see Bastille on the way out the door, I am going to invite him to come with us.
Okay. Where would Bastille be at this hour? At 11 p.m.
I mean, he'll just be standing in his room.
Yeah.
He won't be out and about, but you know he's just waiting for somebody to approach him with something.
As usual. As usual. And what would everyone else be doing at this time of night? Asleep?
It's 11. Cole's in bed.
Cole's in bed. Is Willow in bed?
Ada would more than likely just be out like a light.
Ada's out like a light. Is passed over into midnight.
Yeah, Rat is busy trying to drink away his sorrows.
Rat is drinking.
Probably be summoning their partner.
Yeah.
Before sleep, probably.
By the way, Rat, you did succeed on your will save.
Oh, drinking helps solve every problem.
So apparently, drinking helped this one for now. But you're still seeing the. But as you tip back mead or wine, what are you drinking?
Oh, the absolutely most disgusting tasting alcohol around. Like if you take a drink of it, like
honey raisin mead, got it.
Yeah,
honey raisin mead.
Slurping that up like he's like the best drink ever.
And there's and the bartender is like, I only got a shipment in of this ship because of the cards visiting for the championship games. Usually they're the only ones that drink the stuff.
Fortunately for you, buddy, I got a lot of problems that only the worst type of alcohol can solve. So I appreciate you for having this on. Just someone just sees a Rat just drinking. Like there's like a bunch of cups. Like he's already halfway down, like a barrel.
And what is Ducky? And what is that Willow doing? Is Willow out like a light too?
Well, what? Willow would probably. I think Willow is going to summon their Mystimon before sleeping. I think.
Going to go out looking for Mystimon. There are some Mystimon that are only nocturnal.
What are? Yes, we'll do that.
So, does Soma go by Bastil's room and grab him?
Yes.
Okay. Grabs Bastil. Bastil is following Soma and Carii to the library. And as
they leave. Oh, sorry.
As you're leaving the tavern, you look over to see Rat basically drowned in mead.
Yeah. He's just gonna basically look to those three and just like, howdy, fellas, you have going out for a nice midnight stroll? Right on you.
I have not been informed where we are going.
Well, I was just ignoring that.
Jeez, I've heard of blackout drunk, but how about drowning drunk?
I mean, hey, with the stuff he's seen, worth.
At that moment, Rat, you see the ashen figure just behind the bartender.
I get myself a new hat.
And the
You need assistance with sleeping.
I just going for a nice party of money.
Carii says, I don't think he'll need assistance with sleeping. Seems he is about on his way there already.
What language was that? I did not understand it.
And when Carii says that, just falls off his chair and just plonk onto the ground.
And the bartender says, yep, he's cut off.
Like, what? Come on, I'm gonna say you cussed a bit.
So Soma, Carii, and Bastille, you get to the library, leaving Rat there collapsed on the ground.
Carry Rat to his room briefly.
Okay, carry him to his room quickly, and then follow Soma and Carii to the library.
You pick him up by the scruff of his neck like an animal.
Oh, don't get me wrong. He is dropped unceremoniously onto the bed. There is no talking off the bed.
Like, turn him on his side.
Perfect.
So Soma comes in and like props him up on his side with a pillow. So if he vomits, he won't choke.
Oh yeah. Soma comes in and he is like fully smothered into the pillow, like would have suffocated without Soma. Like was just dropped face down onto the bed and then Basto walked out.
When you wake up, Rat, it is to like a glass of water on the bedside and a pillow behind your back.
Imagine having bedside manner.
Is a Bastille just fucking command grabs you and slams you into the fucking
but him heavily.
Okay, Rat, you get a story point. Soma gets a story point. Bastille gets a story point.
So Potemkin Bastille into the bed.
So
one step closer to world domination.
You all make it to the library, and Carii lets you inside, and as soon as she lets you inside, Soma, you just beeline straight to the section on divination magic. Make me a few research checks. You can do either occultism or arcana. And
should I do my own or should I just aid?
Bastille, you can aid.
Okay. So I was gonna say be like before with my feats and eye for numbers.
At this point, this is just a hunch that Soma has.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but with my like before in that other library with my feats of eye for numbers and clean contents, he'll be like picking out the exact books based on the description he's given, like that one, that one, that one, that one. So occultism or what was the other?
Occultism or arcana.
Okay, I will do occultism.
26, you succeed, so that is a +1 to Soma's check.
Sorry, that's actually a 28. I don't know if it makes a difference. I forgot to include eye for numbers.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. It's still +1. Okay, 28. Soma, you realize that when Zolgoth astral projects, the further he goes from his body, the harder it is to find his way back. And you know this because Alapeke in your clan, some Alapeke actually have similar abilities. But there's a trick to it when Alapeke project. Make me another research check. Still aid?
Yep, I was just about to ask, shall I roll first?
Yep.
Alright. I will include eye for numbers. 24.
24. You aid, +1.
Okay, give me 1 second. My headphones are dying, so I have to switch audio outputs.
No worries.
Unfortunately.
What's Bastille doing during this time?
I mean,
Hear
like,
me? Oh, I'm sorry.
if he is aware of what they're looking for, he'll go through the stuff and research as well.
Yeah. So, Elle, you're good?
I'm good. As long as you can hear me, okay?
Yep. We can hear you.
Yeah.
33. You realize that the trick that Zolgoth uses to astral project might be similar to what Alapeke use. Alapeke use scent. They create a trail of scent to find a way back to their bodies. Zolgoth might be doing something similar. And Kyrene's mention of Carie's trail marking habit brought this to mind. Make your third research check. Starting with Bastille's aid.
Yes. And then I had a question regarding his astral projection. Do we know because is it like a standard astral projection where he is linked by the silver cord?
No.
Okay.
No, it's quite a bit different.
Okay.
So that is a +1 to aid for Soma's check. And okay, 27. With your third research point, you discover that there is a way to track down where he's projecting from, using divination magic to follow the scent trail that he's making. However, you need him to show up again in order to get a bead on his trail. And do you mention any of this to Kyrene?
I mean, I'm kind of narrating this all as we're researching because like Bastile's helping. So I'm like, as we ran in, I was kind of just like talking to Bastile as he's following me and saying, there's a back at home there are my aunt. She used to leave her body and go traveling, and she always mentioned that she had to leave a trail. She would mark the places that she was going by so that she would always find a way back to her body, because she was going in dreams she was going to all of these other places, sometimes places she'd never even seen while awake. And so she'd have to, and there's something there, and so like we're, I'm pulling out books of like divination and Alapeke legends and things and handing them to Bastile, who's flipping through them and handing them back to me. And so I don't know if Kyrene has caught up with us.
Yeah,
but like all of it is.
She has. She's been here the whole time. She says at the end of it, she says, so what you're saying is you need someone to act as bait and call him out so you can sniff out his trail.
Yes.
As you say that, Kyrene turns and heads in the direction of the forbidden section.
Just Kyrene, can we like have a good night's sleep first? So please.
I already slept.
Well, I didn't, okay?
Sure. Whatever you like. He
finishes his long rest in 2 hours, so he's like, I was already chilling for 2 hours.
Sure, whatever you like.
He'll come for you.
Yeah.
I know that. I just think that I would like some other people here first.
Sure. So you get back.
I'm like staring at Carii. That sure came too fast and too lackadaisically. I'm keeping my eye on her.
Okay, so you get back to the tavern. You sleep through the night, but still standing up as usual, just waiting for someone to come get him.
Well, I was gonna say, if like Soma mentions her suspicion, like she can have like Bastille like either go back to the library or stand somewhere, like just waiting to see if she leaves if they leave through the night.
Sure. So you sleep through the night. Bastille's guarding at the library, making sure Carii doesn't do something stupid. And you gather everyone in the morning. Is that right?
Yeah.
You gather everyone in the morning. Gather together everyone.
And so we would have rested for the night, pretty much.
So now it is the next day. I'm going to fast forward this.
Everyone but Bastille.
It's 7:30 in the morning now, as you head over to the library. Where I move the
did a 23, I think it was. Did a 23 reduce my stress, or do we still have
it? That unfortunately didn't succeed.
Oh.
But what were you doing to try to relieve your stress? What was your stress relief like?
It was absolutely cuddling with both Zeal and Carii, which is probably why it didn't work, because I was probably having to just kind of like keep them apart and do that thing. It was probably actually I was like, I'll just, meditate like I usually do, but with two animals. And then the entire night was like the first night you have where you're introducing a new cat to a household that has cats.
Absolutely.
And it's just, like, trying to keep them apart.
And let's face it, the moments you weren't doing that, like if you weren't occupying yourself with anything else, you had nothing else to think about. But the thing you were trying not to think about.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I did. We actually rest for the night. Oh.
I think as people arrive to the library, there's like a small group of people that have surrounded Bastille because he has been standing incredibly still outside the library, and people think this is some weird art exhibit that popped up overnight.
Just like the weeping angels from friggin' Doctor Who.
Right now, I really wish I could screenshot this. Snow is like laying on the pillow on my chair, and I look over and it just looks so adorable. Anyways. So you all head into the library. Soma had a heck of a night trying to introduce Zeal and Carii in such a way that Zeal's not picking fights with Carii. Cari's is actually being really sweet and loving towards Zeal. It's Zeal that's the problem.
Oh, that's the problem. I'm the problem.
So you all head into the library along with Carii, who heads straight down into the forbidden section. And as you get down into the forbidden section, she doesn't say anything on the way down. She doesn't say anything. And as you all get down into the forbidden section, she hands her key card to you, Soma, and then she heads directly in the direction of the tapestry, and she motions for you all to hang back. And I'm going to need to have everyone make stealth checks.
Okay, so
Oh.
I have prepared for this. Is she heading? So she's heading into the forbidden section.
Yes. Directly to the tapestry.
Alrighty. I'm going to so where are we in so we are in the like that ante room, right?
Yeah,
With the tapestry?
yeah. So there's like
And-
seven aisles lined up in like this half crescent around that tapestry.
Okay. 7 aisles, and there's like pillars. Okay, how many of us are there? So there's 8. There's Soma. If it's okay, I'm gonna say Zoe is not involved here.
Sure.
As long as that's okay with you.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So we've got Ada.
Maybe Zoe's right now is with Ira and Koi or something.
Yeah. Ada, Rat, Bastille, Willow. Is Khul-Dra here as well?
Yep.
Okay. And then Carii went in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to the tapestry.
Before Carii heads in, I would like with her consent and anybody else's consent. I can do this on up to 5 willing creatures. Cast Web of Eyes.
Okay.
Which basically allows us to share what we're seeing with each other if we're out of sight.
All right.
So Carii, me, and then who else wants this?
Yeah, so it's effectively like those old-fashioned multiplayer games, a split screen.
Yeah, kind of. But except it's more kind of like you can beam what you're seeing to another individual.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so it is split screen, but it's like a combination between split screen and those the like things in television where like one corner of the screen expands and suddenly that's all you're seeing, and then a different thing of a character, but whatever.
Kind of picture-on-picture shenanigans.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, we all get a HUD, but we can only view one person's view at a time.
So it's more like a FNAF style camera system.
Yeah. It's have you ever played or watched any Let's Plays of oh gosh, what's it called? Those like observer games where you have to like spot the difference and you're clicking through the security cameras. That's kind of what this is.
Yeah, FNAF.
Okay.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
I
don't
know. But anyways, so who are the other 3 people?
So
I think Khul-Dra would be the better of my 2 to receive it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to literally keep an eye on what Ada's doing, Ada could likely have one.
And then I think Rat's a requirement.
Wait, what? Why?
Oh,
You're seeing stuff right now. You're a requirement.
Yeah, unless someone actively like forces the
no, I'm not.
Lord.
This has to be willing creatures. So if you don't want to be a part of this, then no. Okay.
Then absolutely not.
Alrighty then.
Unless a character wants to be like, hey, you should probably do this, then like, all right. But if no one's gonna say anything to Rat, then no, he's not gonna.
I called to say something.
All right, say something, Khul-Dra.
You have been pretty jumpy of recent, so I think maybe it's best for you to participate.
If Rat is seeing things, I do not want it to spread to the rest of us.
Yeah, I think. And plus,
I do
I'm not
not
seeing.
believe that is how that works.
Look, Soma's gotten a lot of stress levels from hallucinating, okay?
Yeah, Carii says it's a lot like what Zolgoth loves to say. Madness is like an infection.
The last time I remember when we... Oh, you weren't there. Steel, remember when we were looking into the box at the ranch and I sent the eye through? And what I saw in there was not so good for my stress levels.
Oh yeah, you saw like a temple underwater, and then that one doctor chick
scary.
went crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I
all of
remember that.
Deeply unpleasant.
I mean, it sounded like a fun time. And then something happened, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's not so fun. I mean, what?
It looked fine to me.
So, however all that goes, Carii...
I'm missing Willow and Ada.
Okay. So, Carii then walks into the direction of the tapestry as you're all hanging back, and I've got your stealth checks here. And then she starts, so Zolgoth, come on out of hiding. I have a proposition for you, she calls out. And for a long moment, there's only silence. Come now, Zolgoth, I know you're listening. You can't help but spy on us, can you? Pretty sure I spied your krolls flying around. Perhaps a few batros last night, she says. And for another moment, there's more silence. Zolgoth, I'm not going to stand here all day. Do you want to hear what I have to say, or what? And then suddenly, Soma and everyone, you can see these clouds of black smoke forming from all 7 different aisles in the direction of the tapestry. And you hear this voice. Well, well, well. If it isn't my favorite human woman. I would love to oblige, but you're just not my type. And Carii rolls her eyes. Not that kind. I'm still a married woman. Then Zolgoth appears right behind her. Come now. How married can you be when your spouse is not even in this world? Zolgoth says, Oh, I'm sorry. Did I touch a nerve? Oh, you haven't told him, have you? You haven't told your own son where his daddy's gone to. Tisk, tisk, tisk. And they say I'm mad. And then Carii whips around. And as she does, this shockwave of violet energy blows right back at Zolgoth and knocks him back several feet. So I have touched a nerve. Your powers have gotten stronger in the intervening years. Shall we see how strong? I have a friend who's been, shall we say, hissing for a rematch. And Carii just stands there and looks stoic and says, whether you're Flarius, Xenomancer, Zolgoth, or any number of other personas you have, you are still the same old madman. And she makes a gesture to Soma and everyone to get to work.
What?
Everyone can make a perception check to see if they catch Cairi's gesture. Let's see how many people actually catch it.
I mean, I'm hungover, so yeah, accurate.
Hey, it actually good roll. Let's go.
Yeah, that's more
So
accurate. Rat's
Bastille
too
catches
hungover.
it, Ada catches it, Khul-Dra catches it. Willow?
Yeah.
Willow catches it too. And Soma, you catch it too.
Everyone but the goblin.
Everyone but Rat. Rat, you're completely distracted because you see the Ashen figure off down a completely different aisle.
So I have a question about that Ashen figure. When it sees Zolgoth, does it look at him?
No.
Okay. Wait a minute.
So,
Oh, never mind.
so Soma, you can make an occultism check to see if you can spot Zolgoth's trail.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to decide if I want to spend my epic point or not, and also my mouse is dying.
What the
It's all good.
heck? Everything's dying tonight.
Everything I own.
And
I would have thought you would have charged those things last night.
No, it's batteries, and it doesn't. It lasts for like ever, but then all of a sudden it decides no. Okay.
the chart is trying to counteract the epic points that you have.
There we go.
35. So you catch you can make out Zolgoth's trail. You're sniffing about, and you make out this really floral sweet scent that's very slight and very easy to miss, but you can make it out, and you can make me a nature check with a +1 circumstance bonus because you've been hanging around Kwai. Perhaps a little too much.
So are we all going to question the fact that someone's just sniffing around?
You can't see me because I did cast invisibility on myself, so
Yeah,
I am
and-
undetectable.
Oh,
And Rat
Everybody.
is completely distracted with the Ashen figure.
fair enough.
Rat, you see the Ashen figure turn down another aisle, and you have this urge to follow him.
Okay, so
Make me a will
Posing
sway,
questions
Rat, to resist
I got
following
you.
him.
I got you. Ew.
You fail. You just start walking in the direction the Ashen figure went. Okay, so what?
posing a question to the group. My nature's real bad. I'm not trained in it. Is it worth just getting a nat 20 on it?
I
Using
mean,
an epic point to
I
nat
mean,
20.
You know, other things you're wanting to spend those epic points on?
I'm a chaotic individual, so I say just raw dog it. Go with your bad nature train.
Personally, I'm of the mind I don't think this is the moment.
Nope. I
don't think it's the moment either, but it could be. Okay, we're raw dogging it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Let's
it won't
go,
turn
Al.
out so bad.
Let's go.
You what did you say, Steph? What did you say?
I think that
Yeah, we're gonna blame
I
Seth
have
for
Okay.
to
this one,
story
fellas.
point that because I do have a story point.
Yes.
That was very good timing. That was very good timing.
expert time and
Maybe it won't turn out so bad.
guys, maybe it won't turn out so bad. That's two.
There you
Okay,
go.
there we go. 21.
21. So you kind of think it's one thing for a second, and then you catch yourself. No, wait. What did Koi say? Oh, right. It's Gandanias, a type of rose. And now you can make me an occultism check to follow this trail. And who else is going to follow her? If anyone else can see her, I mean, she cast invisibility on herself.
So I was gonna say, so
And Willow sees them, I don't know.
when he sees the signal, would activate his arcane eyes that allow him to see invisibility.
Okay, so Vasil can see you.
Correct.
Ooh, excellent.
And
Probably no one else can.
yeah, it's like the best I have is I think detect magic at export arcana through I forgot what it was called.
Mm.
Let me find it. Huh. You notice I don't have it on, but I thought that I had like I keep on forgetting the name of the damn thing. The thing that gives you detect magic as an innate spell and scales it off of your arcana stat.
I don't know.
That might be a remaster.
Oh, so me being a sage Galvan.
Okay, so Zeal has scent. So
Yep.
he has a scent imprecise
Yeah, and
for 30 feet.
so
And
could
he
Carii
ate
too. Yeah, actually, and so can Carii. But you'll find Carii the Nyoko now in the companions folder.
Aw, look at that photo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so with that, only one can aid at a time, right?
Yes, only one.
So would that be a perception check from Zeal?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
32 from Zeal. That aids. And in fact, that's a critical success because that's 10 over the DC. The DC to
So is that
aid is 20.
a +2 bonus?
Yes, that's +2.
Sweet. Okay. Fingers crossed.
25.
Ooh.
So you're following Zeal's Zeal is like sniffing, and Carie's kind of flying overhead, right over Zeal, trying not to get into Zeal's way, and you follow them up the elevator, and I assume Bastille is following as well.
Yes, I was gonna ask with the sea invisibility, when he knows like the general direction of where the scent is that we are following, is there anything invisible that he sees, even if it's just like okay?
All you see is Soma.
Well, I meant beyond Soma, obviously.
No, nothing beyond Soma.
Okay. I thought that was pretty obvious.
Okay.
You
So
see anything? Yes, you see Soma.
you follow the those two Mystimon outside the library, and you now realize that it's going further into the city. So you realize this as Zeal and Carii are like completely narrowed in on something on some kind of trail going further into the city towards the east, maybe a little southeast. And you kind of come to this realization: Zolgoth is in fact here, physically here in Evergreen City.
I am going to shove the vision of what I'm seeing into of like watching the two critters like beeline into the city, into Cole, Willow's, and Ada's eyesight.
Yeah, you see the trail kind of going off in this direction on the map here, towards the southeast. So that it looks like he is actually here. And you shove that vision to everyone else, and so everyone else can see this. And where's the I tried to make a will save myself. I have a phobia of dogs. So, and then suddenly, just as you're following these two creatures, Zeal and Carii, Soma, suddenly Zolgoth appears directly in front of you, inches from your where your face is, and he says, "I knew I smelled wet fox. So nice of that woman to bring me a snack." Do you say anything?
I think I just kind of like bounce back, like trying not to run into him. And then as he says that, I do want to like kind of bob and weave a little bit to see if he actually sees me or if he was doing something else.
Yes, he follows you.
Okay, well.
And he says, "Oh, come now. Don't run. I won't hurt you much." No. That came out wrong. Look, see? No knives! For now. I've just come to talk. How about we take this somewhere more private? Perhaps here. And suddenly whips these clouds of swirling black smoke around you and him, separating you from Bastille and Carii. It doesn't work. And Carii and Zeal. And a moment later, you're floating high above the ocean. Just before you, barreling down towards you, is a massive serpentine dragon with wyvern wings and a blunt snout, turquoise skin, and wispy tendrils. I'm sorry, just a guest I'm inviting for a little party. Though I think you feel a little connection with this one, don't you? Wouldn't it be fun? Let's see. You could make me an Arcana check. Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Your eyes kind of become locked with this dragon, and this dragon is locked eyes with you as well, and you can sense this deep connection with it. And Zolgoth says, "Wouldn't it be fun if I sent it to the Quartka Islands? No? Oh, that's right. That's where your family lives, don't they? A little visit from a dragon lord wouldn't be very nice, would it?"
What do you want? What do you want from me here?
You haven't been home in quite some time, have you? So you may feel a sense of kindred spirit with the old woman, is that right?
Sure, something like that.
I have a proposition for you, then. Relinquish your guardian powers, and this one will stay far away from the Quartka Islands. Do we have a deal?
We're like floating.
Yeah, you're literally floating directly over the ocean.
Okay, and Galaclone is what? Just like flying above us?
flying towards you.
Flying towards us.
Yeah.
What is the threat here is that Zolgoth has some ability to send Galaclone elsewhere to cause destruction.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to be very, very clear. How could you do something
Away.
like that? What are you... What powers do you have that you can control a Dragon Lord?
I'll show you my hand if you show me yours.
I've already shown you my hand.
Have you now?
Don't you remember the little girl you saw?
Little girl?
I'm referring to the Deceiver's Cloak that I did to turn myself into the child. Or the like, you know, his the person who looked like his friend.
Right.
Do you not remember this?
You think you know something about me. And you can see that he's make me a perception check, actually. And that is 35. You can see that he's really trying to avoid that conversation. He's trying to avoid talking about Kairos.
He gave you Skulldoom. But that wasn't what he was at the time.
You think you know things about me. But I know things about you as well. It has been quite some time since you've been home, hasn't it?
If you know Alapeka, you know that that's true. Nothing you can tell me is something I've hidden. Yes, I have family. Yes, I have children. Yes. I have friends on the Quatracan Islands. Yes, you can threaten them all you like. But you have a past too. You had friends too once. You had family. I am not threatening them. I am not threatening you here. I am asking you, what can you do?
Have you ever heard of the Dragon Eyes? You could make me an Arcana check.
It's like, I don't know, have I?
29. You've heard something about the Dragon Eyes. You know that there are these massive gems, but the most you know about them is that they have some. They're like in a curiosity. You don't know if they have any magical powers.
I kind of scoff a little. Trinkets. Stories.
Stories, eh? What if I
I'm
told
watching
you?
him very carefully.
What if I told you a couple of years ago, I dropped the red dragon eye in the middle of this city, over off on this eastern coast of this very continent, in fact. And Flamdrone went crazy.
So you're saying you have one on yourself right now?
I have all of them. Bake me a. Let's say, bake me. We're going to say Arcana again. You're kind of putting together these pieces. Freslor came here. Gaius followed her here. Flamdrone followed her here. Galaclone, it seems to be flying directly towards Olympus. If you want, you can make me a survival check to see if you can discern where exactly you are.
We're over the ocean, right?
Yeah.
My survival's not good, so.
But you could just make out the coast.
Yeah, we're clearly near the Quatrican Islands. That's the Quatrican Island. All he's got to do is just toss it over his shoulder, and
so he has told you that that's Olympus.
Yeah,
and so Galaclone is flying towards Olympus. Freslor was here, went into the flow. Gaius came here. Flamdrone's here. That's 4 of the Dragon Lords right there. Here in Olympus. And you remember that the cataclysm occurred because all 10 Dragon Lords it converged in one spot in Baona in the Quatrica Islands.
they're trying to create another cataclysm.
Oh, so the fox does have some brains.
Is that what you believe will break open the world and bring your god through? Or is it just more destruction that you wish?
What do you think the first cataclysm did?
The first cataclysm broke open to brought the spirits through or something, right?
Yeah, the first cataclysm. So what you know, I'm going to actually pull up the world map here. So what you know is that over here in Atlantia, which is this big continent towards the northwest from where you are. In Atlantia, there is this canyon in the center of the continent, and there is, according to legend, there is like this rift or wormhole or something that is somewhere in that canyon that happened because of some big cataclysmic event that happened in the past. Mm-hmm. And you have heard stories that the cataclysm made that hole bigger. And then the battle for Konaset made that hole even bigger. So it keeps getting wider and wider. And that's like common knowledge. A lot of people know about that rift. But not everyone knows where it came from. Tick tock, the clock's ticking.
But if the rift is all the way on the other side of the world, what are you trying to do here?
Make me an Arcana check. Oh, 20 on the die. You get the sudden realization. You don't need him to say anything. You get the sudden realization. Thinking about where the first cataclysm was in Baona, and where he's trying to start one now in Olympus. And thinking about the location of where that rift is. You suddenly connect all the dots right back to the flow lines.
So it's kind of like if the flow lines are like warp and weft of fabric, then strain on other directions pulls the whole wider.
Yes, exactly.
Alrighty. I am going to do I want to be an asshole to him first?
Why not? Question. He's been a bit of a dick, hasn't he?
I'm going to cast Deceiver's Cloak to look like Kairis again.
Yeah.
And
pretty much just what he takes one to no one.
And say, and say, I'm so disappointed in you. And then I'm going to fling myself backwards off of whatever it is we are standing on, like whatever, like trying basically out to pull myself out of the range of whatever he's using to hold us up so that I'm just falling.
As you do that, suddenly you're just right back in the middle of Evergreen City.
Rude. Oh, okay. I thought you were going. I thought no. I was planning on something cool, Seth. Damn it. Never mind. Okay, I just fall backwards on my ass in a puddle, I guess.
So you finally realize that was an illusion that he was showing you.
Oh, okay. But it felt so real. I could smell the ocean. Rude.
Oh my god. I got the perfect roof.
So, I wonder if Elle has figured out yet how she could use the epic points in a way that changes the story.
I mean, probably. We'll see.
So, now so back to Zeal and Carii, who have continued to just bolt right through the city, regardless of what happened to Soma. They just bolted right through the city.
That's still following them for sure.
And they finally end up going towards the outskirts of the city, and but still, you finally realize he's not actually directly in the city. He's somewhere nearby to the city for sure. But it would at that point you realize that they're kind of running directly towards the primal wood.
He's just following.
He's not going to stop
Did
them?
did anyone say what to do if we did find his body?
Did anybody react to seeing the critters run off into the
Yeah, they're bolted. They're bolted right through the markets.
No, I mean the people, the rest of the party, because the rest of the party got sent that vision, so they know what's going on.
Yeah, did anyone else react to that vision?
Oh boy, that was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And the one time that I actually managed to say through all this to pick up on the details.
So, but still, you follow Zeal and Carii as they get towards the Primal Wood, but as they get right up next to the Primal Wood, they stop. They stop cold. And they start backing away.
No. Oh.
And Carii is hissing in that direction.
Where?
They're kind of just deadlocked with something in the Primal Wood. They don't want to go in.
Well, we'll see. Willow know what was going on, I guess.
Yeah, Willow can see it because I believe Willow was one of the people that Soma cast the eye on, the web of eyes.
Yeah, so everybody saw these two critters running off, like beelining out of the city. That was like the last flash you got from Soma before the spell ended. So in terms of like reaction, this is probably, we're moving back 10 minutes or something, because that was the last thing you saw was and Bastille following Soma, following the critters, see the critters beelining. Are you still in the basement, or did you leave?
Willow probably would have followed them. That's the last thing they saw. They would have been like, oh.
Yeah. Those two are not going anywhere any further. They're not going into those woods at all.
Cool. Locate on Zolgoth's stupid outfit. That's immediately what Bastille does. He's finding this guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Log binary.
Go ahead, cast locate. How much Mistia does that cost?
It's only 3rd level, so not as much.
Okay.
There you go.
Are you heightening it to 5th?
No, we'll try Zolgoth's stupid outfit first. He can't imagine there's many like it.
Yeah, sure.
Zolgoth's like kind of yeah, like Zolgoth does not dress like the regular person, so
you get the sense that where the primal witch is and where Zolgoth is might be one and the same. So it might be stupid for you to follow that trail.
Oh my goodness.
Might not be the brightest idea in the world.
Being a ghost hunter is epic.
So Now you know the general location of where Zolgoth's actual body is. And you know how to find him. And that is where we're going to pass some more time forward.
Oh, Seth, I have a question. Where
Sure.
did the Ashen Man send me to? Or is it like I'm going around the library in like a wild goose chase?
You just end up going around the library on a wild goose chase. Willow, I assume, kind of followed Bastille and Soma out and was following Zeal and Carii to the edge of the Primal Wood, and then stopped right there. Because Willow absolutely knows it's a bad idea to go in there.
Oh yeah.
Ada, what is everyone doing to pass the time through the next day?
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
For my good old pal Binary, would Bastille have shared the information that Primal Wood's haunted?
Yeah, I mean, so I think Bastille's fully waiting with Zeal and Carii for everyone to show up. He's waiting.
Zeal and Carii go back to Soma because they are not going into the woods. They are not going into those woods.
Yeah, so like he'll inform Zeal and Carii to go get Soma, assuming that Soma will get the others, and he is just keeping locate up to see if Zolgoth ever starts moving, because he does not want to lose this guy's location.
Like Bastille's just acting as our GPS for finding the Soma bitch.
Irene finally catches up with you all, and she's like, "Well, this is great, and all that we finally have discerned where he is projecting from. But I don't think it's a good idea for you to directly confront him right now."
I wouldn't suggest going in there. It's a bad idea.
If we do not act on having a location presently, what is to stop him to move before we act?
You need to think this through. Are you ready for a confrontation with someone this powerful?
The question is not are we ready. The question is if we will get another chance.
Oh, you will get another chance. You know how to track him now.
Well, it's just hesitancy. Well, it would just be like hesitant and sort of, I guess, agreeing with them that it's probably not a good idea. We're not prepared.
He is planning on creating another cataclysm. If we don't confront him now, we need to find and possibly destroy the Dragon Eyes.
Kyrene says the Dragon Eyes. There's only one person who knows anything about the Dragon Eyes. She knows more about the Dragon Eyes than anyone here. Crystal. You need to talk to Crystal about the Dragon Eyes.
What of the dragon lord that has recently been tamed?
Flindrone is not imprinted quite yet. And through the next day, we have fade in on a cutscene as Crystal is approaching. She finds Flindrone out there on that cliff overhang at the Wingnut Bluffs, and she just and it doesn't attack her at all. And she just slowly approaches it and says, I don't think you were truly angry. You're just misunderstood, maybe? She says softly as she approaches it, very slowly, very cautiously. And it regards her with a sort of tolerant air. It's just tolerating her presence. Everyone's always so afraid of you, but you tend to not leave your territory up in the mountains. The hidden archives are right there below you, and you've never bothered them. As long as they don't bother you, you just, don't care. Is that right? And Flindrone looks at her and then turns back to the horizon. I think we've all just misunderstood you all this time, myself included. And for that, I'm sorry. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I think I understand you more now. She says as she approaches it a little more. Can we, you and I at least, start over maybe? Try to get to know each other? And Flindrone looks at her intently for a long moment, and then starts flapping its wings and flies up and away toward the south. Not going back to Almana. That's curious. But I'll take that as a maybe. And so what is everyone doing through the next day? Is Carii is really adamant you're not ready to confront Zolgoth directly. It would not be a good idea to confront Zolgoth directly, especially if he's in the general direction of the Primal Witch as well. Do you really think you stand a chance against Zolgoth and the Primal Witch at the same time?
Yeah.
If anything, considering how they might be at the same location at the same time, maybe they're one and the same.
Highly doubt it. Remember, we have 2 or 3 cases that we haven't worked on at all. The first one was the Primal Witch, and none of us has gone and talked to the crazy guy who is presumably the brother of the Primal Witch. And there's also that murder we haven't figured.
He's not the brother of the Primal Witch per se. Actually, not at all. He's the brother of a little girl who went missing in the Primal Woods some time ago.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to add an addendum to that. I mean to say, that's my working theory. That's my theory. I apologize. I didn't mean to.
The Primal Witch has been there for a lot longer than that little girl has been missing.
Oh well. That throws that theory out the trash. Thanks, Seth.
Because if anything, Ada's still kind of taking everything at kind of potential value, and is more or less seeing this as maybe this is just a big old coincidence, and the two are actually one and the same.
Well, I know a lot about spirits. And that Zolgoth guy seemed pretty much alive to me.
I'm going to try one more time to meditate my stress away.
Sure.
You know what? You know what? So is there a way? Is there like I was sorry, not someone. Is there a way someone can help someone get rid of that stress point? Like the circumstance bonus.
Someone can either do a resolve check on her, and that's kind of like doing a therapy session.
Hey,
or
so
she could do the resolve check herself and meditate or do whatever. Like you drink your sorrows away, rat.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Just to be clear, the main reason I still have this is because I keep forgetting to roll to see if I get rid of it, not because I have failed more than once. I've only failed once. Let me be very clear about that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Go ahead and make that check. 32.
Hey,
you do get you do feel a whole lot calmer after meditating. You feel so much calmer, especially since you. What did you do with Carii and Zeal?
I think I finally put Carii in the little closet in my room so that they could sniff each other under the door.
Yeah.
And finally, I came back after lunch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back after lunch and Zeal was curled up against the door and napping. And it was okay, finally, peace in our time. And I opened the door and let them actually interact with each other.
And then they fight again.
That play fighting where they're just doing the they're waving the paw and hovering it and hovering it.
Yeah.
Until you hear Zeal say, "War never changes."
looks up at me and goes, "Chaos reigns," and then smacks the shit out of Carii.
Yeah. So the next morning, whatever you all are doing, the next morning, you guys wake up, you come down, and you come down the stairs, and you find Kyrene, Sarah, Flor, Lorena, and Crystal in the midst of morning conversation.
No, it's this like the day after.
Yeah, this is now. It is now the 10th of Endora. It is the day after. It's 7 a.m. And Lorena is looking a lot better this morning. She looks a lot more clear-minded and lucid. And Crystal says, "So, pick your replacement for the Almana Academy in case you're elected?" asks Crystal. And Kyrene is sipping her coffee. And she says, while looking at her and says, "As a matter of fact, I have." She says, as Crystal sips hers, "You, Crystal," she finishes, to which Crystal spits out her coffee. "Excuse me?" says Crystal. "Me? Have you gone bloody mad? Have you been taking a bit of the Doc's crazy juice?" She then turns to Lorena. "No offense, Doc." Lorena shrugs. "None taken. It was not of clear mind, certainly." And Kyrene smiles and says, "I think you are the best candidate, on the contrary." And Crystal says, "But I blew up the alchemy lab." She stands up, throwing up her arms. "I believe the word you used back then was allegedly." Kyrene says, laughing. And Crystal says, "Well, I'm a clumsy oaf, you know me. Why do you think my lab at the tower is in the basement?" And the whole time, Sarah and Floor are laughing, and I'm sure you are like laughing too. And Crystal then says, "I had the worst grades in that place." And Sarah smirks. Why does nothing about that statement surprise me? Crystal glares at her. "You hush. Were yours any better?" And Sarah says, "No." Crystal is about to smirk when Sarah finishes, "I didn't go." And Crystal rolls her eyes. Then she turns back to Carii. "What about the Wayfinder Society? What am I to do with that? The hidden archives?" And Carii sips her coffee with a smile. "I thought perhaps you could bring the Wayfinder Society into the school. Then funding for the organization is better taken care of, and you don't have to take money from unscrupulous benefactors. And the hidden archives can make full use of the library. I hear they're rebuilding the library grander than before. Sounds marvelous."
Oh, no.
Crystal just collapses in her chair, defeated, and turns to Sarah. "Looks like you're vice principal of a school now." Sarah looks at her. "Was that in my job description?" And Crystal replies, "Was this in mine?" Sarah says, "Touche," as she turns to Floor and says, "Guess I'm moving up in the world, honey." To which Floor replies, "Maybe this will get you to pick up a book once in a while." And Sarah just rolls her eyes as Floor sees all of you as this scene finally comes to an end. As Floor sees all of you, she says, "Oh, good morning, everyone. I was perusing the Morning Evergreen Herald when I spied something I think you all might be interested in. Have you all heard of the Nivyn?" As she hands the paper to Soma. "It's a very famous ship, built recently in the Quartka Islands. It was named for a former member of the Tribunal, a friend we all used to know. Some more than others." As she looks to Crystal, who looks somber at the sound of the name. And Soma, you have heard of the Nivyn. The reason you've heard of
that was built.
Yeah. The Nivyn was built. It is a ship that was built from some of the pieces of the wreckage of the Queen Marine, which was the shipwreck that Kwoi was involved in. That Kwoi was on. She was on that ship when it wrecked. And Fleur continues, "I think this is actually its maiden voyage. But reportedly, the ship is haunted. Oh yeah, there were a ton of reports from people who came over here on the ship of people seeing figures or apparitions and hearing a woman crying, all kinds of things. And it's actually docked here at the Shanabor dock, some ways down the coast from where we all docked. I thought you might all want to check it out. A real haunted ship, how exciting."
I've investigated a couple of those. Ain't really nice. I mean, except that one time a spirit threw me into the water. I almost drowned. That wasn't fun, but other than that, it ain't fine.
Floor kind of agrees with that. I think you really should learn how to swim.
That's fine.
And she turns to you and she says, "I read that. I knew that was right up your all's alley."
Well, it's up my alley, and maybe Bigelow over there. He says, pointing, or not pointing, but flunking at Bestial's shin. Like, tink, 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 tink,
tink. Does Soma share anything of what she knows about the Nivyn?
Not in like this big room that is packed with people, because that seems kind of rude to Kawhi. But for whomever amongst us wants to go check out the haunted ship, Soma absolutely wants to join. So I'm assuming Rat and Bastille, but whoever else as well. I
was actually going to do something else. I was saying I was going to do something else.
Oh, no, okay. Bunch of ghosts.
No,
The ghost guy is just like, nah.
Well,
I've already
first off,
seen one haunted ship.
no, first off, we had to gather information about the primal witch. I thought that was our main goal, but all right.
So this connects over into another case, which I have here.
How many cases is that now? Like 4?
Kind of lost count.
5? Okay, let me rephrase. Cases in the Emerald City.
In Evergreen City.
Evergreen. I don't know why I said Emerald.
Did you watch Wizard of Oz? Did you watch Wicked?
Anymore, Rat?
Yeah.
Okay, Rat and Soma can have a story point.
Oh, I have all 3. I can do something.
Uh-oh.
I
mean, Seth, I'll let everyone finish up before I do my hero point thing.
And I was about to say,
story
like,
point thing.
Like, I still have yet to use mine because I just didn't find the need to use it.
Well, why would you when everyone's been rolling 20s all day?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, if anything, I don't want to be the scapegoat of everybody's luck. We always have rats for that.
But we still have a little bit time left in this session. Soma, since you lose your epic points once the session ends, do you want to do anything with them before we head off to the Nivyn?
Not yet.
All right.
Summon a Dragon Lord on the Primal Woods.
I think that would be a bad idea, but that's just me.
If anything, Ada would be all for play witch hunting.
So, who all is going to investigate a haunted ship?
Yeah, sure. I guess.
Fun.
I do have one question. Is the guy that's in like that witnessed the primal witch? Is he like has his condition worsened at all, or is he still kind of like crazy rambling?
He's crazy rambling.
Oh, okay. So I got time. Then yeah, I'm gonna research the Nivyn then.
Okay.
I was worried that the dude might have done a little spooky accident.
So,
oh.
if you want to do a little investigating before you go head onto the ship, you could make me some diplomacy checks, not society checks. I need to remind myself. Thank you, Soma, for correcting me on that so long ago.
You're welcome.
Ken, I have a question. So during this investigation, could I use my 3 hero points to make that's canon that I get a radish the little rat thing. Yeah, Ravish just all of a sudden just hops on top of Rat's head.
Yes.
I give myself a little Ravish now.
Absolutely. As you're walking through the city, you walk by this restaurant, and you see this Ravish that's like in the window, kind of like trying to cook. It looks like it's trying to cook, and it sees you, and it just hops on your head.
And Rat just pats in. She's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna call you Junior.
Not Ratatouille.
Now, Rat Junior.
Hey, his name is Remy. Get it right.
So
Hey,
Willow
everyone.
Willow just made a diplomacy check.
I thought that would have been a meal.
No, I'm happy. Fortunate.
So Rat now has a pet ravish.
His name is Brat Jr. Always on top of his head.
You should check him for a king in yellow mark.
Rat Jr. has a little king in yellow mark in the exact same place as Rat.
Yep.
I would actually cry.
It's the fucking
The
banana
one
one.
joy in my character's life ruined.
It's like the freaking. It's like what? It's basically the pawn of the king in yellow. Well, the freaking rat is just the freaking banana prince.
Commander Rat and Lieutenant Junior.
Yes.
This is how you become a commander. This is your single underling that listens to you.
Okay, so
He's just there for moral support, man.
so Rat and Soma aren't really making any headway. Does anyone else want to make diplomacy checks to investigate about the Nivyn, this haunted ship?
Wait. Oh, I thought this was for it says this is about the Nivyn, and if so much shares the story of this, can I use my spirit lore to like try to discern something about it? Because typically spirits usually stick close to like a tragedy that happens to them, but I don't know if that occurs in this world.
Hey,
That doesn't matter anymore. Never mind.
Oh.
Okay,
Never mind. It doesn't matter.
We have another
Okay,
20 from
I'm
Khul-Dra.
not going to use for my singular story point here because everyone's luck is God, and I don't want to bone it and make it shit.
So Khul-Dra makes rolls another 20. We've had 20s here all day.
Yes, I think this is like the fit. I think this is like
At
the
least we've
fifth.
had some good luck this week.
blessed
Yeah.
by Soma's belated birthday.
So
Yeah. I was about to say,
somehow
we'll probably watch next week, and all of our luck is just gone.
Oh,
and somehow
Oh, no.
Khul-Dra, everyone seems to be ignoring what you look like, and is just spilling the beans of everything they know about the Nivyn. And you hear that there have been they're seeing apparitions of a woman in white. There has been reports of a woman crying or wailing. And you hear one person who has a theory that he has a theory, and he tells you, I think this woman is looking for her lost child.
Well, we absolutely have to go and see.
Nah.
Ira is kind of curious about this herself, and she kind of pulls Koi along, and they are following you to the ship. So I'm going to drag the party up to the Shanamore docks.
Okay.
And that is where we're going to transition to another map.
Ooh. Pulling out all the stops for this. Oh.
Oh yeah.
So
What's
Yeah,
It's blank. It's black.
another?
And
Can't see anything.
We got transported to
Yeah.
the void.
turn that off. Okay,
there.
there you go. You should be able to see it now. I need to get the token on here
Yes, so.
Oh,
somehow.
somewhere.
There we go. So, here you guys are on the Nivyn. And this ship is huge and sprawling. And it's like your regular old cruise liner ship. Actually, as you come onto the ship right here, you can see that this is like a shuffleboard court here, and over towards the back of the ship, you can see what looks like a golf putting thing or a driving range back here towards the back of the ship, where it seems like people would just drive balls right into the ocean.
Wow. Oh, is it like one of those balls that have fish food inside of them, like they dissolve?
Sure, yeah.
Oh.
Thank goodness. I was gonna be like, ugh, rich people.
Yeah, it is kind of like that kind of rich, stuffy ship. It looks like it would cost a pretty penny to get a ticket for this ship.
How do we get in?
You just climb up the ramp onto the ship.
There's no guards or anything?
No, not really. They don't really care. They don't really care unless the ship is getting ready to leave.
Oh, that seems very dangerous. Anybody could come on.
You know what that means.
Ill intentions.
It's not ill intentions. They're probably scared of whatever goes on around here. They assume that whatever they see, whatever any ne'er-do-well would try to steal from you, would see like a spirit and then run away.
And as you say that, Rat, Soma, make me a perception check.
Can I cast Spirit Sense?
Do I get anything?
Yeah, you can, but this perception check is as you're looking at Koi and Ira.
Oh, okay.
You can kind of sense that what Rat just said seemed to kind of make Koi a little scared as she kind of is slinking behind Ira.
Yeah, Rat, like, okay, I don't know how to do this. So I'm assuming Soma would have told like everything about Kauai and the Nivyn, right? And the Queen Marine and the Nivyn.
So if Kauai has decided to join us.
Yeah.
Ira decided to join.
Okay, Ira
we lost
decided
Bastille.
to join us. Oh no.
There goes Ryan.
Bastille died.
Oh, I have no idea why I thought that it was Wigan Rat that died.
I will say that
presumably he lost internet.
Yeah.
Probably.
If Ira decides to come along, Kauai comes with us, I will share all of that information, but in much more just kind of softened ways than I would have shared it just with everybody, which is kind of mostly telling Kauai with everybody else around that I had learned that the ship she was on was called the Queen Marine, and its wood had been salvaged and used to rebuild a ship called the Nivyn.
Welcome back, Bastille.
Welcome back.
Hello.
You're back.
It's completely froze.
Alas.
No worries. Yep. So you're kind of telling a little bit to Koi about the ship that she was on when it wrecked.
Yeah, and before we hopped on, Rat's gonna like pull Soma aside, and he's gonna give her the most like what the heck did you just do? Look.
Wait, why? I explained all of that before. What I was saying is that if they joined us, it would have been like before we heard all of these ghost stories.
And when we heard the ghost stories, you didn't think to like tell Ira and Kauai to be like, "Hey, I think something else fun might be over there." There was reports saying that there was a human I mean, there was a woman crying out for her child, and according to the stories, Kawhi was I think she was a child. I don't remember.
It's either her mother or it's nobody involved with her. And if it's the former, she deserves to be here. And if it's
Well-
the latter, then she could be a help.
Well, here's the thing with spirits. Spirits are very emotional beings. So there are two outcomes that could come out of here. Kawhi could get an extreme flashback to the Queen Marine and then revert back to that state, or the spirit would see her child and then presume that's her child and then go crazy. Spirits are very delicate things to handle with.
I know that.
Now, why are you treating it like it's some sort of like it's okay to bring the one that might be affected the most here?
Because she has a right to make her own choice.
The choice to see her own dead mother.
If that is the choice she wants to make, then yes.
Don't seem right to me.
Then take that up with her. She is an adult.
Oh. No, like I said, I've already said my piece, and you already said yours. I'm not gonna be a stick in the mud and be like, "Oh, you can't go there." I'm not the one to like decide your fate. I'm just warning you of what might happen.
Ah, so you wish me to manipulate another, but you will not do the same.
No, what?
I see.
No,
how
I'm
it
just.
is. I'm gonna climb back up on the boat.
I was just letting you know what might happen, but all right.
So are we at the boat where these hauntings occur now?
Yes,
Okay.
you're actually on the ship now.
So does Khul-Dra recognize this boat from the dreams he visited?
Yes. A little bit, slightly. It looks a little bit like the Queen Marine did way back in the past, but it's obviously not the Queen Marine. But according to Soma, parts of the Queen Marine were used in the construction.
Okay.
I will say, Rat, as Soma climbs back up on the boat, you notice probably for the first time that like attached to her belt and dangling around just like all the accoutrement that she wears, her like scarves and her all of her stuff, she's carrying equipment that you would probably recognize.
Oh.
She's got a spirit dwelling. She's got little like charms and talismans on her, protecting against spirits and possession and, you know, all the accoutrement of an exorcist.
Yeah. There'll be a slight chuckle, and it climbs up right to her.
As the Ghost Star Rider appears and then disappears around Soma's head. And Carii is perched up on Soma's shoulder, and where would Zeal be?
Zeal's probably in her hood, where he usually hangs out.
Where Snowy here likes to hang out. Anyways, so you head on the ship. You see this. This is like this big cruise liner type ship. Really rich, noble folk type ship. You see that golf driving range towards the rear of the ship. You kind of walk right into this shuffleboard kind of thing here. And Over here, towards the as you turn towards the right, you can see that there is a stairwell that is leading down into the bowels of the ship.
Oh yeah. So do I get anything from my investigate haunting?
And also spirit sense from Soma. So, Soma, you open your mind to the metaphysical, enabling you to sense nearby spirits. If you aren't searching, you get a check to find haunts and spirits in the area, and you gain a +1 status bonus to the following checks regarding haunts or spirits: perception checks to seek, attempts to recall knowledge, skill checks to determine the reason for their existence, and skill checks to disable a haunt. And you also gain a +1 status bonus to AC and saving throws against haunts and spirits. And do you heighten that to 6th?
You know what? Yeah.
So this duration now lasts until the next time you make your daily preparations. So basically, the whole time you're here.
What about
that cost quite a bit of mischief.
Investigate haunting.
Go for it. Investigate haunting. You're skilled at noticing the telltale signs of ghosts and hauntings even when you aren't investigating in exploration mode. You get a check to recall knowledge about incorporeal undead and haunts active in the area. You also gain a +2 circumstance bonus to skill checks to disable haunts. Okay. So basically, you get a check to recall knowledge about incorporeal undead and haunts active in this area.
Yeah. Do you want spirit lore or haunt lore?
This is going to be haunt lore.
Okay. Do I get the bonus or is it just raw?
You do get this. You don't get the bonus because this is not to disable a haunt.
Okay. I can't stop winning.
34. Add a 20 on the die. So you believe that the act of you recycling parts of the Queen Marine might have brought a spirit onto the ship.
Yeah, Rat's just gonna do a little the stop sign the military tactical people do, but he's too short, so I'm assuming people don't see it. And he's gonna say, "Wait, hold on, stop, everyone." I think I gotta. So yeah, I guess my theory was correct. When they reused the parts, the spirits that passed away probably clung on to the Queen Marine. When they reused the parts to build the Nivyn, the spirits clung to the Nivyn now. There's a haunt in here.
So this is a haunt. This is literally a haunt. And everyone make me a perception check.
Explaining this, I'm going to kind of sidle over to Kawhi and hand her a little bag full of apparently my hair.
Rat's gonna chuckle. It's just like, man, looks like you're one of those looks like you're one of the old guards, ain't you?
Sometimes the traditions are the work.
I'm more of a new guy. I'm more of the new type of way.
You say as you pull out your gun.
Yeah.
So we have 33 from Rat, 35 from Soma, 21 from Willow.
I just gotta say, I love the contrast between Soma and Rat, how they both exercise spirits.
28 from Bastille, 32 from Khul-Dra. Ada? Perception check, please.
Perception, yeah. Okay, well, there's my
Perfect. Perfect.
story
It
point.
was bound to happen.
Story point it? Story point. Much better, 38. Okay, so Willow, as all of this is going on, you're kind of just completely, your gaze is completely locked on the waves of the ocean because you've never seen the ocean before, so you're just completely distracted by the waves of the ocean. And you actually start to kind of wave with the waves.
Well, it's just I'm in a trance right now, looking at it.
Yeah, you're kind of entranced looking at the waves.
Tranced by the waves.
So everyone else, you hear this. You suddenly hear this. What sounds like a woman crying. It sounds like a woman sobbing and crying. And Kwoi gets really scared at this point. She kind of slinks more behind Ira and is like, what is that?
Stay close, you two.
Ira says, you don't have to tell us twice.
Rex takes out his gun sword and he's gonna like take the lead.
It's like next thing you know, he reaches me and puts the he puts the cylinder next to his ear and he just spins it one at a time to check if it's actually loaded.
Yeah.
You might want to
Just
check if it's
checks it.
actually loaded.
Like one of those old-fashioned like movies,
Revolvers.
Yeah.
like a revolver. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Fortunately, that's not the type of gun I have. I have essentially a shotgun.
So you go with
Just-
you all head the direction of the woman crying, right?
Yes, Rat is taking the lead.
Absolutely.
So you head on down into the stairwell and head down to the next level.
I do have a question.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
It's all good.
So,
Can I? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, can I use this and be like, Can I ask a request of a local spirit and be like, hey, so, what we dealing with here, buddy?
You hear this this kind of woman voice, kind of. "Ah!" And then a moment later, you hear this woman voice say, "Where is my child? Where is my daughter?" And everyone make me a perception check. $27 from Rat, 20 from Bastille, 23 from Khul-Dra.
Might use story points on that. We'll see where others land.
Ada, Soma,
Is this a
Willow.
Is this a check? This is a check
23?
regarding a haunt or a spirit. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I was like, I just wanted to make sure. Ashen.
25 from Soma.
I find it funny how you have a spell version of some of my feats.
23 from Willow. Ada?
Another perception. Let's
Yes.
see.
Yes, please. 27 from Ada.
Lucky is starting
So-
to balance out.
Rat, Soma, and Ada. You kind of quickly notice this shadow out of the corner of your eye, and as you kind of look in that direction, you see this shadow kind of move behind Koi.
Do I have enough time to react to like blast? Or is it too quick to like feasibly shoot?
It was too quick.
Okay.
And Ira, it notices that you're making that motion to shoot it, and she puts up her hand. It says, "Stop! Don't."
Unfortunately, I like to be a little safe. I'll be nice. I won't do anything irrational unless something happens.
And you hear another voice. Is that my daughter? Do you say anything? Anyone?
I'm gonna
No.
walk up to Kawhi and just. I'm assuming Kawhi is holding Ira's hand really, really tight.
Oh yeah,
Guys.
absolutely.
And I'm just gonna walk up and
Nah.
like put my hand on her shoulder.
Yeah, I don't see any artwork or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, in this case, just leave it up to Koi to see how she responds.
Meh. Rat's gonna like trust in what Soma says and Kawai's like mental strength. Because this was the exact thing that Rat was worried about. Sometimes when dealing with spirits of your own loved ones, you don't have the mental capacity to like face them again in that way.
Yeah.
Except Kwoi has absolutely no memory of her mother. And it was the issue the whole time. That was what Ira was concerned about. She has no memory of her mother. She has no memory of her father. She has no memory of where she came from.
Yeah.
And
I remember what we spoke about.
you think this is my mom?
I don't know. Do you? It might be worth trying to talk to her.
Okay. Mommy? And she quickly says, "Not Kyrene." And Ira kind of snickers because she's kind of whispers, "She's been calling Kyrene mommy for a long time." And
That's I was gonna say Rat's finger is still like on the trigger point of the spear, just in case something happens. That's it. It's good to be safe than sorry.
Suddenly something happens with Soma. Pull up the chart, Soma. Soma.
It's all grayed out for me. Oh, I can just roll. Okay.
Yeah, just click it.
Well, sorry, everybody.
Suddenly you see Soma's eyes glow a kind of turquoise green, and wind starts swirling around her, and tremor, the boat all around you starts trembling in a 40-foot emanation.
This could have been the everyone. Ghost. You don't know this was me. You don't know this was my fault.
Everyone must make a fortitude save.
If I now won, I'm gonna shoot something.
Nat 20 from Soma. 26 from Rat. 35 from Khul-Dra.
As well, I'm making this.
Yes, everyone is. And Ada.
Everyone's making a whole what they do.
I can
38 from Ada.
I can pass this, right?
28 from Willow. 36 from Bastille. So everyone succeeds. No one falls prone,
including Ira and Kawhi.
Sure, I'll do them.
Including the ghost.
Major NPCs.
The ghosts.
That is 19 from Ira. Ira falls prone.
if this counts as a spell, get the plus 1 to that.
And 27 from Kwoi. Kwoi's fine. So Ira falls prone, and Kwoi just stands her ground. She offers Ira her hand to help her up, and no one else falls prone.
Sorry, everybody. I just remembered I had to do a thing.
Yeah. This is part of Soma's guardian powers. Once in a while, whenever she casts a spell that it costs Mystia, she has to roll on the Mystia. She has to roll a d20, and if she and 8 or below, I have to
make a DC 8 flat check, and I rolled a 7 on my very first one.
Okay,
and
that's
if she fails it, then she rolls on the Mystia Surge table.
I'm very sorry, everybody.
It's because right now she doesn't have full control over her guardian powers.
Could have been the ghost.
I don't. Only powerful spirits can do that.
Only powerful.
And suddenly, as all that happens, suddenly the spirit comes fully in full apparition form, because it seems like it's kind of feeding off the energy that you were off-putting, Soma. So that allowed it to fully apparate.
Great. Now you're making the book when you give a ghost a cookie.
Now Rad is like, he has his finger ready to like blast, and he looks at Soma like.
The spirit looks really calm and peaceful. And she seems to be staring intently at Kwoi. It is you. My daughter. You're alive. All this time. You're alive. And Kwoi says, Mommy? And so the woman, this spirit introduces herself as Anella. Anella Trewache. Let me copy paste that for you.
Yeah, I need to write that down for my spirit log.
Trewache. That is actually Kwoi's real family name, her real last name. Where she got Tree Watcher from that is anybody's guess, but it could have been because at the time she was really young, so she mispronounced it. I can tell you from experience that yeah, a child can do that at that age. And she says that your father was a druid himself, and it looks like you are as well. My daughter, my Kwoi. So she fills it in all the blanks of who Kwoi really is, of where she came from. Anella Trewache was a healer in life, familiar with plants and alchemy, and very well learned in herbology, while Kwoi's father was a druid. His name was Hermie. And when Anella first met him, she goes into the story of how she first met Kwoi's father. He was a hermit living alone in a hollow home deep in the woods of Peruma, kind of paralleling Kwoi's growing up alone in the woods of Maona. And he had no family name himself, so he simply took Anella's when they got married, which was actually more of a Kilaron traditional wedding. Kilaron is the like the god of the god of nature and such. And when the ship, the Queen Marine, was wrecked, they were on a voyage to Atlantia. Anella is not sure exactly what happened herself. All she remembers is Hermie waking her up and there being a fire and smoke, and all she could think of was getting to Kwoi, but there was a wall of flames blocking their way to get to her. But then Anella also remembered, I remember seeing this cloaked stranger during the voyage who had taken an interest in Kwoi before all of that happened. I remember this cloaked stranger played a bit with Kwoi, and Kwoi referred to him as Mr. Cloak. And I never met the man personally myself, but I did find it strange that he had taken this interest in my daughter. And as Della fills in that story about Mr. Cloak, Kwoi suddenly starts to remember him, and you can see that she is immediately starting to panic. And Ira calms her down enough to tell her what is the matter, what's wrong. And she says, Mr. Cloak was the bad man. He did it. He started the fire. And Ira's eyes go wide as she exclaims, Zolgoth? So the members from before, from the island, she says, as Kwoi is nodding. The dreams. Zolgoth befriended you first, are you sure? And Anella is looking really confused. I don't understand. Who is this Zolgoth?
Long story cut short, He's kind of a guy looking to destroy the world, I guess. I don't know.
Kind of a guy. And so is probably about to say he also has a really terrible fashion sense.
Of course.
And Ira says the man she called Mr. Cloak, who befriended her and then betrayed that trust and started that fire and murdered you and her father, he meant for Kwoi to die on that ship that night. And when that failed, and he realized years later that she was alive, and he's been on our trail ever since. But Kwoi then stops her and says, "No, you don't understand, Snowy. I started the fire." And Ira's mouth just drops as Kwoi's eyes are watering and tears are flowing. Ira soothes her and calms her. No, Kwoi, no, this was not your fault. He manipulated you. That's what he does. This is his fault and his fault alone. You're just as much a victim. Don't blame yourself.
Hold on. I think we need to let Kawhi speak for herself. What do you mean you started the fire yourself there?
He told me we were playing a game. He told me we were playing a game. As I lit this candle, he told me we were playing a game and we were casting a spell. And then everything got burning and smoky, and that's all I remember.
You should not blame yourself for being manipulated as a child.
And Adela immediately says, "Oh, Nexus, no." As she kneels next to Kwoi, "None of this is your fault, sweetie. This is entirely his fault. And please," as she looks at Ira and whispers, "Please, next time, call me Mom. After all, you're about to marry my daughter," she says with a smile and a wink. She noticed the necklace. So Adela is overjoyed to meet Ira and to see that Kwoi is happy and found love, and Ira is actually surprised to learn that Adela is okay with the fact of the person Kwoi loves is a woman. She seems that she was still a little anxious about that. But Adela reassures her that all she ever wanted was for Kwoi to be safe and happy. And furthermore, it turns out Adela was herself pansexual, so... So, later that night, as night comes and Kwoi has this long day with her mother's spirit and getting to know who she really is, where she came from, who her mother was, who her father was. Finally, Ira has a moment alone with Anella, and Anella senses that Ira has misgivings about everything and asks her, "What is the matter?" And Ira tells her about how she and Kwoi were arrested and how Kwoi almost got flogged for little more than loving her for a stupid almonin taboo. And Iris says, "I could never forgive myself if she ever gets hurt or worse because of me." And then Ira thinks and says, "But I think that's what I keep telling myself. Honestly, I do love her, and I want nothing more than to Superfly. I want nothing more than to protect her and keep her safe, but I think I also might be protecting myself. I've learned recently that I have a tendency to put up walls and not even let her in and get closer to me. There are things I don't tell her, things I keep to myself. And then there's my own mother. Roy wants her to be at the wedding, but I'm not sure I want her to be there. Truth is, I've been keeping my mother at arm's length, and I think it's all because I don't want to be hurt myself. I think I'm hesitant about the wedding for the same reason. I'm afraid of her learning about the real me. What if she doesn't love me as much then? In truth, I think I've been doing that my whole life, putting up walls. Even before my father died. Stupid flies. Even before my father died. Stupid flies. My mother faked her own death. I've always been reserved and never really opening up to anyone. Roy is the first I've ever really opened up to, even a little. And at this point, Aldella is laughing and smiling, and Ira looks surprised and says, "What?" Anella places a hand on hers. And Ira, my dear, you are so much like my Hermie. I told you he lived as a hermit when I met him. But what I didn't tell you is he was also a hoarder of sorts. He called himself a collector. But his little hollow in the hill, it was filled to the brim with stacks of different things, from rocks and bugs and even junk he found lying around the woods, and that people had dropped there. And he was always very reserved. As I would meet with him, I would chip away a little more at his wall, both emotionally and physically, as I would get him to open up to me little by little, while convincing him to let me take one thing from his collection, she air quotes, that I would then throw away. Eventually, his hollow was emptied out, and Hermie had fully opened up to me. And I would learn that the stacks of stuff in his emotional walls were his defense from being hurt. Much like yourself. They were also something else. They were a wall he put up around his own feelings. To keep himself from feeling in a way. But let me tell you something. My daughter is lucky to have you. I've never seen her so happy, even as a child. You have opened up something in her as well. And I can promise you, she will love you all the same if you open up to her. Perhaps she will love you even more, as I did my Hermie. So allow yourself to feel, and work through your feelings with your mother. Talk to her. You're sounding more and more like Roy, Ira says. And Ellis smiles, like mother, like daughter. Great minds think alike. I mean it, Ira. My daughter is so lucky to have you. You are wonderful, and I can see you will make her so happy and keep her safe. And I can promise you the taboos of a few digwigs can never stand in the way of that. And as the moons come high in the sky, Anella's spirit finally starts to pass on. As this haunt has been resolved, she found her daughter. She knows that her daughter is safe. And Ira makes a vow to her that she will take care of Kwoi and love and support her. I know you will, Anella says, and she will for you as well. You are partners for life and beyond. Farewell, Ira, and farewell, my daughter, my sweet Kwoi. I will always look over you. Though I know Ira has that job well in hand. Take care of each other, support one another, and remember always, let your feelings flow like the river, and everything will work itself out. And with that, Anella passes on. As Ira takes Boy's hand and looks at her and sees tears falling from her eyes, and says, "Cheer up, you'll see her again," she says as she wipes the tears from Kwoi's eyes. And Kwoi looks at her and smiles. "Oh, I know. She didn't pass on. She ascended. Now Mommy will see her all the time," she says, giggling. Ara face palms as she shakes her head. "Honey, you know Kyrene hates it when you call her that." Then she stops and looks at her. What does that mean, she ascended? Kwoi looks out at the horizon. Some spirits don't pass on from this world or go to the Nexus. Some spirits ascend or evolve and become something completely new, and become part of the world as elementals. Mommy told me that. Ira looks confused. "And how do you know Mom ascended?" Kwoi looks at her. "I just know." So, later, Kyrene, out of Kwoi's earshot, says, "I have thought and felt for a long time there's something different about Kwoi." She's talking to all of you out of Kwoi's earshot. "I have felt for a long time there's something different about Kwoi, different even from any of the other Guardians. And somehow the Guardians seem to gravitate around and to her, as though she is the glue that binds the Guardians together. But it's more than that. She seems more attuned to the balance and to the natural world around her than anyone I have ever known. She is more attuned to her Guardian powers. The way she can pluck flowers from thin air, the way Mistia flows through her, especially as she dances. She's special, and I have been keeping my eye on her. You must protect her. If Zolgoth or anyone else were to learn just how special she truly is, it could be disastrous. Because I think she's more than just a Guardian. She could be the conduit for the Traveler himself." And does anyone ask her anything about that?
Yeah. That's just gonna be like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. That's gonna be like, wait a minute. So you're saying that Kawhi might be the conduit for hey, oh no. No wonder why Zogot wanted that little lady gone. Oh no. Wait a minute. Is that why he was always haunting her dreams? There's a lot of questions.
Perhaps.
But a lot of questions, too little time to answer them all.
And Iris is here, and she asks, "What do you mean, conduit?" And Kyrene says, "I mean, she could be the one who will give birth to the Traveler." And Ira's even more confused. "I don't know how that will be possible," she says, and Kyrene winks and smiles at her. There are more things. There are more things in the heavens and on Terrana that are dreamt of in your philosophy.
So it's like an extra planal bowl?
Oh my goodness. I just realized it's the Virgin Mary, I believe. That's my thoughts. That's my theory.
Any response from Soma or Willow?
Well, I was just listening.
And Carii looks at Willow with kind of a knowing look and smiles.
I was just looking at it like, okay. Do you know something? Don't. It's like really just like giving him the confused look.
Nothing. Soma?
Doesn't seem. Zolga seems to be easily distractible, so I do think it is going to be possible to keep her protected.
Or what if? Nah, maybe I'm just thinking too much. And then he's gonna screw it, I might as well say, what if Zolgoth is luring all the hidden archives into the primal woods to keep us away from protecting Kauai? Like, don't it seem odd? Like, his target is right here within his grasp. And he tried to do something with the dreams, but thanks to big man over there and you, when he says big man, he points to Khul-Dra. And you think he might try to do something more to try to get her, considering, that she might be a danger to his plans. Or maybe I'm just thinking out of my butt.
No, that's not a bad point. I would love to think that we had successfully figured out a way to track him, but...
I mean, I'm a liar myself, and I'm a devious little bastard. I know how to... And for one devious bastard to another, that's a plan I would cook up.
Inevitably, there should be two people around Goy. I would say not just one, due to the temptations that he has already shown to try and offer. I can only assume I am not the only one that's been approached by him.
And Cari's going to finish with, in their moment of greatest need, the nine shall gather, and from henceforth all threats to the balance banished. And to be continued next time on Mystimon Saga Hidden Archives. If you enjoyed today's show, how about you all do us a favor and drop us a like and a comment and maybe consider subscribing. We would also love for you to join our community of both Pathfinder 2e lovers and Mystimon Saga fans and Carii lovers on our Discord. Catch our next episode next week as we come back for the season finale. Thank you, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Peace out, y'all.
Oh,
Back for a quick second. What is L? Are you spending your epic points?
No, I was joking.
Summon Croson to go attack Zolgoth in the Primal Wood.
There we go.
You're spending your epic points.
You've got 5 minutes, Croson.
You spend your epic points to summon
No,
Croson.
I'm not. I am not doing that.
Wait, what's... No, you want to know what you should spend them on? What's the name of the Dragon Lord that Soma thinks everything's been connected to?
That was it.
Oh, okay.
That was the joke I was making.
Just summon him here, and then you can be like, hey, what's up? Like, why are you doing all these things, man? And then he'll just look at you like, what the hell are you talking about?
Have we met?
I don't even know your name.
I don't even know who you are.
And so, as we have now gone back to live, as we've gone back to live, I need to know: are you spending your epic points?
Spend them.
Might as well. Or else it's gone for good.
You know, I might as well. This will be the following day. I would like to head in like elsewhere and summon Galaclone. See if I can just say hi.
Hello.
So it is the next day. You go into a secluded area and you summon Galaclone. And you can now make me let's see. What can I check? Make me an Arcana check. So that's a 32. You feel a connection, like this deep connection with Galaclone, and Galaclone is looking into your eyes, and it feels like there's a kind of familiarity there, almost as though you've known each other your entire lives. And you kind of get the sense that Galaclone may have been looking for you this whole time.
I'm sorry I got caught all those years ago. I think he would have found me before now if all of those things hadn't happened back then. I'm going to try to learn more about you and this, kind of gesturing to like the omnipresent breeze. I think that my life took a path that neither of us expected. And I'm sorry I let it go off course.
The dragon gives you a sort of knowing look and stares at you for a long while, just silent. And then it starts flapping its wings and lifts up and off the ground and flies off. But you get the sense that it will come when you most need it.
Oh, but not back here. If you can help it, I like yell into the sky.
But not here, not now.
But not here.
Later.
Something bad's gonna happen. Stay away. Come on, quit.
Nope, do it now. Do it now.
Yeah, right now.
And now, to be continued, next time on Mystimon Saga Hidden Archives. Sorry, we had to cut there for a little bonus tidbit with Soma and Galaclone. So we will see you next week in the season finale.
Yeah.
So now, see you next week.
Yep.
See you next week.